Welcome to the Mortgage Rate Weekly Market Update for the week of May 22nd, 2017. Hello, I'm John Thomas with Prime Residential Mortgage, here to give you an update. Well, last week we saw mortgage rate hit record lows for the last 6 months, and then they were turned slightly higher after hitting a level of support. If you take a look at the bond chart on the screen, you can see mortgage bonds broke through that level of resistance the previous week and then rallied higher all the way up to the 6-month high, but then we're not able to bust through that ceiling of resistance and sold off and moved lower. So they ended the week slightly below the highs for the bonds. But with that in mind, we're going to recommend locking in mortgage rate to start the week. Take advantage of these record lows. The bond was turned lower from the resistance, which moved interest rates slightly higher, but rates are still as low as we've seen them in the last 6 months. So go ahead and lock it in. Take advantage of these record low rates. If you've been considering refinancing or purchasing, now's the time to do it. Now, in economic news, what moved the interest rates to the record lows? Well, the U.S. stock market posted the biggest one-day loss since September 2016 after questions arose about the Trump administration's ability to push through its pro-growth agenda. This helped mortgage bonds rallies last week and go to the record lows for the last 6 months. Now, in other economic news, U.S. households now have as much consumer debt as they did in 2008, right at the beginning of the recession. The New York Federal Reserve released a report showing U.S. households now have about a balance of $12.73 trillion in debt as of March 2017, which is above the peak in 2008 of $12.68 trillion. So not great news there for consumer debt. We'll have to see how that plays out in the future if interest rates start to rise. And then we saw weekly initial jobless claims released on Thursday. Claims dropped 4,232 claims for the week. And continuing jobless claims, which measures the number of people who are currently collecting unemployment benefits, dropped 22,000 to 1.9 million people continuing to collect unemployment benefits. That's the lowest level in 29 years for continuing jobless claims. This was also the sample week for weekly initial jobless claims to be used in the May jobs report. So that should point to a very strong May jobs report. We'll keep a lookout on that. In housing news, for new construction, we saw housing starts for April 2017 were down 2.6% from March to 1.712 million units on an annualized basis. But in the report, the single-family housing starts were up 0.5% from March, and they're up 7.6% year over year. So even though the overall housing starts, which includes multifamilies, were down, single-family units, which is the driver of home ownership, was up 0.5% and up 7.6% year over year. So that's great news there. And then we saw building permits, which is a sign of future constructions. They were down 2.5% from March to 1.229 million units. However, building permits are still up 5.7% from last year. So still good news for new home construction. Builders are still feeling very good about the long-term aspect for new home construction. And the biggest driver of that is there's not much inventory out there. We got a lot of buyers, not much inventory, so new construction is booming. And what that means for buyers is if you find a house, you like it, write an offer. Don't wait because it probably won't be there. And then we saw Delaware State Housing Authority announce some changes that are effective May 15th to two of their programs, the Delaware Small Mortgage Assistance Program and the Delaware First Time Homeowner Tax Credit Program. They've increased the maximum household income limits, and they've also increased the maximum purchase price limit. So if you look on the screen there, you can see the limits for each county for household income. It's based on 1 or 2 person or 3 or more. And they've moved up slightly in Newcastle County and in Kent and Sussex. And then they also increased the maximum purchase price for both programs. As you look on the screen there, you can see for the 1 unit, which is what most people buy, you can see the non-targeted and the targeted price range that you can go up to on a purchase price to use those programs. And then in the local news, the next first-time homebuyer program in Newark, Delaware is Saturday, June 17th from 10 a.m. to noon at the Christiana Hilton Hotel. And then the next one in Dover, Delaware at the Dover Holiday Inn is Saturday, June 24th from 10 a.m. to noon. Now you can register for either one of those seminars. Give us a call in the office at 302-703-0727 or online www.delawarehomebuyerseminar.com. Look forward to seeing you guys next week.